So it's been about 2 weeks since I've gotten my Razer Blade 14 here, and I'm just going to talk about some of my experiences and some of my thoughts on buying and keeping a Razer Blade for a long time, and just general things I think are important to talk about. So, first is first, again, this is Razer Blade 14. I have the 3070 configuration here. We won't be deep diving into the specs or like performance numbers or anything really too much today. I'll just give you some vague idea of what the performance is like. I mean, it's less than the 3080, more than the 3060. I mean, there's like a 10% to 5% difference. I would say 3070 is the, good middle ground one. But in terms of actual reviewer experience that we're going to talk about today, so when this laptop showed up on my live stream, I showed off that the charging cable was actually bent out of the box. You can see how the plug is slightly askew, how it's like tilted like that from the flat base. That's actually a defect with the charger. Now, I have spoken with Razer about this, and they did agree to replace the charger, but first they were offering me basically like a standard RMA for the charger, which was send the charger to us, and we'll send you a new charger back. And you can understand that that's a little stupid for, the charger of your laptop. It's not like I can just, pull a charger out of thin air and charge the machine, without the charger. And you might say, well, you probably have a USB-C laptop charger, don't you? Well, you might not. So I was like, well, I can't really go without my laptop charger. And they were like, well, okay. So I said, I can't really go without my laptop charger. Is there any way I could, like, I don't know, get one, maybe put down a deposit, and then you could send me a new one and I'll ship my old one back? And they agreed to those terms, so I've paid them $130 temporarily for a new charger, which they will refund me when I ship my old one back, assuming that they actually process that correctly. And I think that's a little silly, considering that I paid almost $2,300 for this computer, that I have to pay them $130 for a new charger after I provided them with a video of the laptop with the serial number, the charger serial number, and like my voice. They want, like, they're kind of treating me like a criminal here, and I think that's a little unacceptable on the customer service ends of things. Just, it's kind of stupid. I had a bad charger once, and Lenovo actually overnighted me a new charger, and I still don't have a shipping tracking number for a new charger coming for this yet. And again, I'm 2 weeks into ownership, and Razer has not shipped me a new charger. I've kind of had to pester them to respond. So, bad Razer, customer service, it's real, guys. Now, moving on from customer service, just using this laptop over the last 2 weeks as a normal user, I've been dailying it for work. Which work I do software development for a Minecraft server network. So a lot of my stuff is like Java development, running multiple instances of Minecraft at once. And I know it's been brought up a lot with like the RAM. It only has 16 gigs of RAM. It's not really enough for some people's workloads. I'll tell you here, it's more than enough for me. Running like 3 instances of Minecraft, I can get more than 60 FPS. It's more than usable. I can still compile stuff. The only reason people get concerned about that is because Windows likes to allocate a lot of memory for its background stuff. So it'll use like, 6, 7 gigs in the background doing basically nothing. But Windows will free up memory if you're using something that is trying to use more memory than is available, with Windows allocation stuff. So it'll kill background tasks to let you, do your work or whatever else. Of course, if 16 is not enough for you, you can always look elsewhere. I mean, the G14 from this year is actually pretty compelling considering that they fixed the USB-C charging issue. I mean, the only real problem at this point is just the thermals of the thing, but otherwise it's got better battery life than this, so it's a perfectly fine option if you're willing to deal with quality control, which I suppose we should talk about here. So this laptop, again, 2 weeks ago, $2,200. I basically paid $2,300 after taxes. The top of the laptop, on the top here, this edge here is kind of rough, and so is this edge. Now, it's not the flat surface on the edge. It's like this, it's like the sharp edge that they kind of end the top of the lid on. It's just the edge, and it's kind of unfinished, and it's just not the finish I was expecting for a $2,200 laptop. It's unfortunate, but it's also not a total deal breaker. You just might need to return the machine and get a new one if you're not okay with that. Which I did try to do an exchange on this, but Amazon wouldn't allow me. I don't know why, but I was unable to complete an exchange or even request one. And when I contacted Amazon support, they were basically like, sorry, we can't do that. So, no idea what the deal was there. But other than like physical stuff, well, actually, one more thing with physical stuff. This part of the laptop started to click, and it was really weird. But I took the back cover off, and basically the way Razer has the back cover mounted, I'll try to have images on screen here. There's like these little metal standoffs that come up, and then there's like lifted portions of the back lid that go against it. And basically, those are pretty much unfinished aluminum. So when they rub together, they can click and pop if they're not like fully fastened and aligned correctly. So what I did is I just took the back cover off and then reinstalled it. Just being careful to reinstall it all properly, and then it stopped clicking entirely. So I think it was just factory assembly was a little off. So actually moving on from physical stuff at this point, there are a few software problems with this laptop that are worth noting. They're fairly minor. Basically, the audio just kind of on battery pops a fair bit. I don't know if it's just my Windows install or what, but it does pop quite a lot. It's not like constantly, but it's enough where it gets annoying. I've actually been playing with power settings trying to fix it, and I think I may have nailed something down with just adjusting like PCIe power management and power options. If I do have something nailed down, I'll make a little tutorial explaining it, but I do think I have that figured out. It's just kind of irritating. Of course, a lot of reviewers have also noted that the speakers clip when you get up to higher volumes. There's no real fix for it. It's mainly just because they have like these huge speakers blocked by like a tiny grill over here, I'm thinking, and it just causes it to, move unevenly, and I don't really know. It's just they're kind of poor, unfortunately. I mean, they're more than usable if you're in a like normal room, but if you got like the AC on and stuff, they'll start clipping if you have to turn the volume up. I have been playing with the EQ to try to get around that, but there's no real way around it, unfortunately. Keyboard-wise, this keyboard is excellent. If you were here for my G14 video, you'll know that I noted there was instability on the G14's keyboard, where you could press in the corner of keys and even gently press the keys, and you wouldn't actually register a keystroke, or you would for like a split second. On the Razer Blade 14, this problem does not really exist, largely because of the smaller travel on the keys. It's very small. I haven't measured it yet, but it's probably like half of what the G14 is, if not maybe a little more. And, you can't really fake a key press on this thing. The only reason you do that is if you're used to like deeper keys like I am, and you literally just don't hit the key by accident, which I've done a few times. When I initially started this review, actually, the delete key has an insert function on it, and I'll show that right now. You can see on the top right by the power button over there, there's the delete key and it says insert. When I first got the laptop, Razer didn't actually have that working. For some reason, when you hold down FN, it wouldn't hit insert. But after a Synapse update that also improves CPU performance in video games and just heavy GPU workloads, that actually works now. So props to Razer for fixing that really promptly, especially after I rose the issue on Reddit. They basically messaged me and were like, hey, we noticed this and we have an issue. We have a fix rolling out today. So let me know if that fixes it. And then sure enough, it did. It still doesn't light up when I hold down FN. You'll see, it gets dark when I hit FN here. I'm holding down FN, let go, holding it down. But that might also be fixed later on. So it's worth waiting for, I guess. Another thing is that the camera has kind of, like, the IR feature for Windows Hello is kind of bad. I've had to, multiple times reposition my head to get the camera to pick me up. It might also just be, like, the position I'm using the laptop in, but it just kind of struggles to pick up my face sometimes in some lighting. Even just in the dark, it struggles, so I think maybe the IR LED they're using is not really bright enough, but I don't really know. And also, just in my first 2 weeks of use, my charging ports already started to strip out of its paint. You can see here, basically, we have the USB Type-A port here, where it's black all around the edges, and then the charging port where it's all silver around the edges. That's basically just from plugging and unplugging the charger while I was using it at a basically just a desk. So after 2 weeks, that's pretty pathetic, I would say, especially again for a laptop this expensive. I shouldn't really be worried about, paint scraping off the thing around the ports this early into ownership. So I probably will be returning this one after this just for that reason. See if the new one I get has, again, a better finish on the lid, among other things, but that's yet to be seen at the moment. Now, other than the issues I've directly ran into, and I have actually opened this laptop up and looked at everything in person, and we're going to be talking about batteries, and specifically Razer batteries, and not a lot of people talk about this, and it's mainly because, issues reported online are not very, clear. They're very opaque. You don't really know how many people are running into this. It's hard to keep track of. If you're a reviewer, you've got more things to worry about than one brand's screw-ups all the time. So, it's just a lot to keep track of. But I'm going to bring up the fact that a lot of Razer customers deal with bloated batteries on their blades. Now, this does not necessarily affect all models, all years, evenly, because there is definitely some models that don't have it as bad as some others. There are some models that have it horrible. There's some people who've had 3 bloated batteries in a row. I mean, it just varies, and some of it's up to use. Like, some people really push their laptops hard, charge them while they're gaming, which you don't want to do, by the way. If your battery is under 100%, you should not game on a Razer Blade, because the battery can get too hot while charging, and that can cause them to vent early. So I would avoid doing that. But that should not be a problem. Razer does have a problem. There's a notable problem with blades where batteries will bloat over time. And this happens with a lot of customers. And I have a whole policy of basically, if there's an issue that occurs, if it happens more than 2 or 3 times, all within a similar set of conditions that are reasonable, with totally different customers, or even if a customer has the same problem 3 times, it's not an isolated issue. It's a widespread problem. And the reason why I say that is because most of these people don't go on Reddit. And a lot of people use that as only people that complain go on Reddit. And it's that's also a slim number of people, you have to understand. A lot of people will just go to the manufacturer, go to the Better Business Bureau, I don't know, talk to a lawyer. I mean, most people don't go to Reddit or Twitter to vent their concerns about a company, and a lot of the times they delete their stuff after the company helps them. So this laptop is not immune to battery bloat. I'll say that now. This may happen with your unit. The chance of it happening is not non-zero, but it's also not 100%. You may be perfectly fine. Some people, notably recently today on Reddit, someone has a post on there where they're like, oh, here's my 2018 Blade Advanced 15-inch. No battery bloat, and I've been using it for the last 3 or 4 years now. 2018? Yeah, 3 years. So, if you treat your stuff right, it might be fine. But blades are just a bit more sensitive to this, for whatever reason. I've been trying to look into this. I'm probably going to do more research on this specific issue in reference to Razer. Also, if you've had battery bloat, please report it to the saferproducts.gov site if you're in the US, or a local product safety commission in your country, so that they have a record of this occurring, so that they can do an investigation if it needs to be done and help Razer fix the problem. Again, not everyone's going to have that problem. Hopefully you won't. I haven't yet. I opened my laptop. There's no bloat in the battery. It looks stock still. And, I've been a little hard on it. I've been running stress tests. I haven't necessarily been checking the battery life before doing that. So, it's not going to happen to everyone evenly, and it shouldn't happen early into your product's life. It shouldn't even happen after 2 years, because I own laptops that are 8 to 10 years old, and they don't have battery bloat. And some of them even have lipos. So, I mean, not necessarily the 10-year-old ones, but 4 or 5-year-old machine, there's no problem with it. So, yeah. So one thing I want to talk about before I go here, and I've talked about a few things, just my concerns with the device. I mean, everything else is pretty much fine. I have had no problems with the laptop. I really love this thing. And it's gonna suck to return it because of those minor issues, but like that's how it is. um, I wish I could do an exchange on it, but it's gonna be way too much of a pain in the neck to do that. Anyway, other than that, let's talk about performance real quick. Just briefly, thermal stuff. After the BIOS update, Razer uncapped CPU performance during heavy load in the boost profile. So if your GPU is running 90 watts, your CPU can scale up to as fast as it can go at 100C, and it'll just do that indefinitely. So that's cool. On battery, this thing will do 15 watts on the CPU and 30 watts on the GPU. I believe it might be like 40 watts. It's somewhere around there. And then when you have the 100-watt PD in, so I have a 100-watt USB PD charger right here, just a basic Amazon cheap garbage one. Works perfectly fine. You can get the CPU up to, I think, 35 watts, and then you get the GPU at the same power limit as before. So I've been using that for work. I actually use that for a full 8 or 9 hour day at work, running multiple Minecraft instances and stuff. More than enough for this system. And it actually keeps it cooler. So if you're really worried about keeping your computer cool, I would run it off PD. I mean, you might drain the battery a little bit because it was draining it while I was doing that. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that can help with battery lifespan too. It's very confusing, batteries, but if they're not always at 100, that's better for them. So, I would consider running this thing on PD if you're working on it all the time or gaming on it all the time, and you're not needing like max spec, max settings, full quality, and you're just looking for like a more casual experience. I would go with that. Otherwise, charger's fine. It does scrape up the metal, but this whole computer has like sharp, unfinished edges basically on it, so it's gonna be a little silver after 2 or 3 years. I guarantee it. Don't even sweat it, because it's gonna happen. And if you don't like that, there are other machines, such as the G14. You could even look into the X1 Extreme if you want to. I've been getting like 7-8 hours out of the battery on YouTube, and 6 or 7 on like Wi-Fi, especially if I switch to 60 hertz. One last thing before I end the video. The laptop runs at 165 hertz. You can switch the refresh rate in Synapse, but I'll have a link down in the description for the files I'm using, like down here. Basically, I have a macro set up in Synapse where if I hit Fn and R, the screen, that'll pop up, and then the screen will change to either, this is 60 hertz right now, or hit that again. Now it's 165 hertz. And that's a really quick toggle. It's basically the same macro as the Legion 5 Pro has. There's no reason Razer couldn't actually add that to Synapse. But it's a little thing I've made. I'll have a link in the description to download that stuff. It'll have a README on how to set it up, so just read that and do everything I do in there. If it's not there yet, just join my Discord. I'll be pinging everyone with that later if it's not there already. But yeah, that's my thoughts 2 weeks into the Razer Blade 14. I hope this video was helpful. If it was and you're interested in this product, be sure to check it out on Amazon. Links in the description. Again, be aware of battery bloat. The thin coating, it's anodized aluminum, so it scrapes up really easy. Speakers, all that stuff. Be aware of it before you buy it. I would recommend getting the Assurian warranty on Amazon, because that's pretty good in general. Or if you buy it from Best Buy, get Geek Squad, because I like Geek Squad. I don't work for Best Buy anymore, by the way. I'm just saying that on my personal note. But yeah, I will have another video soon, just like full review on everything. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Be sure to get subscribed if you enjoyed this type of content and you're looking for more of a analysis type video over just basic face value reviews. And yeah, hope video was helpful. See you guys later.